Swiss Army Man is a little indie and a big summer full of disappointing sequels. Amid all the aliens, superheroes, and explosions sits this little darling about a man named Hank and the farting corpse named Manny that helps him escape from isolation. If that premise hasn't already hooked you, then you should know that this isn't the case of the premise being the only legs in the movie. Purge! This movie is actually built around our two characters and how they both help each other to learn the true meaning of living in our world, farts and all. The weird and unique premise speaks to the heart of this movie. It uses the weird and the outcast and showcases these things to show that beauty can come from anything, even the downtrodden and the so-called trash of our world. The lessons and themes may seem cheesy on the surface, but the movie deals with them in such real and personal moments between Manny and Hank that all sorts of cheesiness falls away immediately. The opening shots of the movie set the tone right away as we open up on Hank preparing to commit suicide before he sees a farting man in the waves. He then climbs aboard and cranks the fart level to 11, jet skiing off on Manny as the title rolls. With an opening like that, I was hooked right off the bat. From there, we follow our main two as they try to find a way home. At first, Hank simply talks to Manny out of boredom, but he slowly begins to build a bond with him, until he's singing him to sleep in his arms. And from there on out, Manny comes to life, sorta, and talks with Hank for real, sorta. This is where the movie really picks up, as Hank begins to teach Manny about what it means to be alive. He takes the garbage and the useless things they find in the forest and form them into adventures the two have. Riding the bus, going to the movies, dancing at parties, and plenty of real talk about sex, family, love, and masturbation. Hank helps Manny by dressing up as a girl from the bus that he knew, all the while reliving it with Manny and helping him to realize his own mistakes while embracing the things that make him weird, that he had always hidden before. All seemingly adding to the budding relationship between these two and to our understanding of the world, while managing to pick itself up from the quiet, darker moments just in time to have us rolling around in laughter. Manny ends up helping out Hank a ton, as it turns out he's capable of being a jet ski, karate chopper, a cannon, water spout, a boner compass, a boombox, and so much more. And although he's our Swiss Army Man, Hank only ever calls him his multi-purpose tool guy. A note that shows just how little the premise matters to the sentiment of the film. As Hank and Manny learn and have fun, we get glimpses of Hank's past life. He speaks on how his mother's death affects him and that he ran away from home because he felt useless and ugly and not loved by anyone. And as it turns out, it's Manny who ends up helping him feel at home and loved for once. And as they become closer, they both start to lose their grasp on their identities, and it almost all melts away perfectly as they lean in to kiss. Just two people who finally found another who didn't think they were useless and ugly until Hank realizes who he is again and chooses instead to back away. It isn't until the two are trapped underwater that Hank shares the lost moment with Manny, something that brought them both out of a funk they had developed between themselves, while also saving Hank from death. For a movie with such a ridiculous premise, it wasn't long before this was just part of the movie. The movie put forth so many more interesting thoughts on life and how we should try to live that ended up capturing my fancy even more that before long I'd forgotten one of the characters was a farting corpse. And for such a deep movie, they never failed to execute a multitude of fart and boner jokes that almost brought the house down a couple of times. One of the most important facets of the movie that hasn't been mentioned yet is the role of the score and music in the story, as well as in the movie. Since our characters were mostly stranded on beaches and in forests, they ended up humming and singing songs to themselves. This led to so many different uses within the movie. At times, the tunes they sing will meld and layer themselves into the score, and in later points of the movie beautifully, that just adds to the atmosphere of the film. Both Hank and Manny also end up connecting over the Jurassic Park theme that ends up being brought back as part of the score during the romantic bus scene that they act out together. So after teaching Manny how to live, Manny finally brings Hank home, to the girl from the bus's home. Everything they've built over the entirety of the movie ends up coming to a head as they call Hank's dad and the bus girl discovers the picture on Hank's phone right after Manny dies again. And in a defiant and loving move, Hank runs away back into nature with Manny in tow. He proves his loyalty as he releases his bowels in front of everyone as if to scream that weird is okay. This is what prompts Manny to begin farting again, and as he sails off into the distance, everyone looks on in amazement, and the screen goes black with a simple "the end." A perfect way for this movie to come to a climax and a beautiful way to end this story for both Hank and Manny alike, while also bringing together everything that had been set up throughout Hank and Manny's many adventures. This movie had great moments from start to finish, and I hardly mentioned how funny this movie was, along with being about something so much more important and relatable to every one of us than the premise of this movie may suggest. Daniel Radcliffe did a fantastic job of being dead as well as being alive, and had a lot of work to do just from his expressions or while being carried around like a backpack. This movie has easily been one of the best of the summer, and even though that may be more of a reflection of this summer's slop, don't think that this includes this wonderful little gem, which is definitely unlike anything else you'll see this summer. Given the ingenuity and the thoughts that this movie deals with, while also maintaining plenty of laughs and developing great characters, it earned around an 8.8 out of 10. The only problems that kept it under a 9 were that, if anything, I expected it to be even crazier, and although I ultimately appreciated much more the direction they ended up taking, they did have a chance to do some truly otherworldly things. But this movie was fun and weird in the best way and did a great job of grounding what easily could have been a stupid fart of a movie, and instead they created a heartwarming movie about two people who learned to be friends in an empty world that had no use for them, and that maybe we do have a use, if only we show one another the weird things that make us all unique, like Hank and Manny did. Anyways, that's my review of Swiss Army Man, or should I say the multi-purpose tool guy. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, definitely one of the best of the summer. What did you guys think? Did you like it more than some of the other schlock we've been getting lately, like Independence Day and Apocalypse? What do you guys think? Leave a like if you like this video. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff I got coming up. I do lots of movie reviews and Game of Thrones stuff, and I'll be branching out into some other stuff in the future, but if you want to check out my last movie review, you can click here. Or if you want to check out some of the state of the houses in Game of Thrones, you can click here or here. And as always, you can check out the Season 6 finale for the Power Rankings right here. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back again for another movie review later on in the week. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's me, Movie Mammoth, signing off.